All you have to do is give yourself permission to start that YouTube channel, because the door has already been opened to you by YouTube for a free platform. You don't have to pay any money to get on YouTube. Your success awaits on the other side of you giving yourself permission. Hey y'all, it's Walt the Motivator. Glad to be with you today. Glad that you came to stop by. Today you caught me in the shed. I am remodeling my shed, refurbishing it or revamping it, whatever, and changing it over into I'm making it into a music studio for my leather as well, and maybe YouTube too. I've got a lot of things in the fire right now, and I do appreciate you stopping over and spending some time with me. I've got some encouraging words for you today. I've got some words about YouTube and what you should consider doing if you are on the fence about starting a YouTube channel. I shouldn't say what you should do, but I would hope that you would think about doing this if you're starting or thinking about starting a YouTube channel. My word to you today is permission. Okay? Permission. Whose permission do you need to start a YouTube channel? Who gave you permission to start a YouTube channel? Permission. It's a word that we think about sometimes especially when we're younger, when we're kids, and we ask ourselves, we learned to ask our parents or the adults in charge, our guardians or whoever, for permission to do a certain thing. We found out sometimes that if we did something without permission, then that wouldn't be a good thing. That wouldn't be a good thing to do something without maybe an adult's permission or the permission of somebody who owns a certain thing. We find out when we're kids that we don't just take we don't just take somebody else's food. We find out that there are steps, and we may not know them right away as toddlers or whatever, but we learn them faster than some people may believe. The human species is amazing at adaptation, at learning, at making tools, at trying to figure out problems. And even when we're young, we find out that if we do certain things without permission, then it may lead to consequences that we may not like. Do you know what I mean? So in reality, we learn that certain things should or shouldn't happen with or without permission. Now, as time goes on, we find that there are different levels of authority that we have to adhere to. There are different levels of administration that we may have to adhere to. But there's always that element of someone giving us or allowing us to do a certain thing. When you go into a store, you do not have permissions just to grab everything that you want, put it in a shopping cart, and walk out the door without paying for it. There is a step that comes between you wanting those groceries and you owning those groceries. And that step is called payment. That's a permission that we have and an agreement with the grocery store that is understood when we walk into it. If we walk into a store, any store, and walk out without paying, then that is theft. We didn't have permission to get those items without paying for them. Now, this leads me to the question again, whose permission do you need to start a YouTube channel? I want to let you know right now, all you have to do is give yourself permission to start that YouTube channel, because the door has already been opened to you by YouTube for a free platform. You don't have to pay any money to get on YouTube. You don't have to ask the doctor, unless you're under some kind of psychiatric or physical restrictions that keep you from doing YouTube. But otherwise, it's pretty harmless unless you get to the point to where it rules what you do day and night. But to get on YouTube, it's probably one of the easiest things you do. That forum has been open for you. That platform has been open for you for years. And for years, you may have been saying, I'm going to get on YouTube when I lose weight. Or you may have been saying, I'm going to get on YouTube when I get the right haircut that I want. Or you may have said to yourself, I'm going to get on YouTube when my wardrobe looks right, when my closet is full of high priced and what do you call that thing? High fashion gear. I don't know. But whatever those things were that were holding you back from getting on YouTube, mostly have to do with you giving yourself permission to be on YouTube. It's right here. And some of you have been on YouTube just scrolling through it, scrolling through social media, just looking, being a consumer, just looking and laughing and sometimes learning. But here's the deal right here. You have it within yourself to be a YouTube creator without seeking permissions, without putting down your life savings, because this is free. There have been so many people who have started an endeavor in their life and they've had to put down so much money and may have lost a lot of money in doing so. But right now, all you have to do is use your camera. If you got a camera, if you don't have a camera, which I'm not using, which I don't have, all you have to do is use your telephone. There's a camera built right into your phone. I'm looking at mine right now. You give yourself permission to set up that camera on a tripod. And if you don't have a tripod, set up that camera on another chair or a table. Let it lean against some books or something. You give yourself permission to start this YouTube channel, okay? I can't give it to you. I can't give you that permission. I can encourage you, and that's what I want to do. That's what I keep on doing, to encourage you. Don't let this be one more year that you say to yourself, I think I'm going to try to be on YouTube. Don't let this be another year of you saying, I'm going to get on YouTube when I get the time, or when I get the right location, or when I get the right speaking voice. Listen, you've been running your mouth for years, for all this time. And all you have to do is put up a camera, a phone, and just record what you've already been doing. Give yourself permission. Matter of fact, I don't know what day this is for you guys, but right now I'm on a Saturday. Don't let another day pass. So that then your next day may be Sunday. And if you're watching this, whatever your next day is, don't let another day pass without you setting up that camera, going into a closet or going into wherever you have to go to get some quiet and away from the sawdust. But go where you need to go and start talking. You've got a lot to say. You've got a lot to offer. You've got a lot to give this world. And all you need is to give yourself permission Talk to your own self and give yourself permission. Because the biggest hurdle that we have a lot of times to our own financial success, our own spiritual and mental and physical success is our own selves. We are our own biggest hurdle, our own biggest barrier to success. Your success awaits on the other side of you giving yourself permission. Your spiritual success awaits. Your financial success awaits. Your physical success awaits on the other side of you giving your own self the freedoms and the permissions to go forth and do what you need to do. I want to encourage you today to unlock those barriers, to jump over those hurdles and say, today is the day that I'm going to start my YouTube channel. Do you need financial freedom? Oh, there's a lot of channels about that. And I'm going to have a little something to say about that myself, because I do in my own life. I have multiple streams of income, as they say. I have different endeavors that help bring in the income so that I can keep a roof over my head. I'd like to share those with you sometime. I had to give myself permissions to walk out of the prison that I had held myself in. I got a little story for you. This is a story about a dark time in American history when there were slaves in our country. Abraham Lincoln signed a thing called the Emancipation Proclamation in January 1st, 1863. Coincidentally, I was born about 100 years later. But I'll tell you what, when he signed that Emancipation Proclamation, there were slaves who did not believe that freedom had come to them. When people came to their plantations and said, listen, you guys can go, you're free. Most of them, not most of them, many of them stayed on the plantation. Because what? That was where they were born. That was where they were raised. That's where they worked, lived, and died. They did not understand the concept of freedom. So when they were told that they were suddenly freed because of the Emancipation Proclamation, they had no idea what to do. Where do they go? They don't own any land. Where do they live? They don't own any homes. What mode of transportation do they use to go from one place to another? They don't own anything. But to be told they were all of a sudden free was very daunting, very confusing, and not quite understandable. So as a result, some of them just stayed right there on the plantation because that was the only thing they knew. Some of you today are slaves to your own mentality, or to the mentality of what other people thought about you or think about you. Some of you today in 2025 are still locked up in the mentality that you're not free because you haven't given yourself permission to do things. You always told yourself that those things were for other people, or that really nice house, that's for somebody else. You told yourself that those nice clothes that they wear, they're not for me because I can't afford them. I'll never have enough money or enough means to get what they've got. And it's a sad thing to be locked up under your own mentality and not giving yourself permission to grab that key. You don't even need a key because all you need is permission. You can bust the door down, baby. Give yourself permission to not be locked down by the judgment that you have been so harshly giving yourself. You've been going through so many situations in life and you don't know how to get out. But I'm telling you right now, this is your chance to become free. Get out of that relationship. I don't know what relationship you're in, but whatever it is that you held yourself to that is holding you back. Oh man, how many great books would have been written if somebody had just given themselves permission to start writing that first word or that first letter? Or even how many books would have been written if somebody had encouraged that person? They may have been in a bad relationship and nobody gave them encouragement. So as a result, they never gave themselves permission. Listen. It's breakout time. It is breakout time. It is escape time. It is time to escape from whatever ties that have bound you to the thinking that you are no good. It is breakout time to break away from the ties that have bound you from thinking that you are unable to achieve success. It's breakout time, y'all. It's breakout time. Listen, when you have decided that you've had enough, that you have had enough, I don't mean you have to just run down the street screaming, I've had enough. But when you've decided in your mind and in your heart that you have had enough and that it is time to quit saying, I think I'll start YouTube, or maybe I'll start you. When you get away from that thinking and you start doing it today, that I guarantee you there will be a freedom that comes over you just because of the fact that you've started. And you've jumped past those barriers. You've crashed through those walls that have been keeping you back because you didn't want to set up your camera, because you didn't have that right haircut, or you didn't have that right do, or you thought you weren't cute enough or whatever, or your beard wasn't in the shape that you... Listen, it is time for you to break free right now. It is time for you to declare your independence. And I don't make light of a situation that happened in 1863. I don't make light of the Emancipation Proclamation. But I really think it's time. I think it's time that you look within yourself. Free your mind. Emancipation. Freedom. Free your mind. And as the saying goes, and the rest will follow. YouTube is awaiting you. Come on in, the water's fine. YouTube can help you free your mind. Free your mind and the rest will follow. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. Because freedom takes an act of some faith. Yeah. Freedom takes an act of you stepping out into the unknown. Of you stepping out into a territory where you didn't know you could exist, or that you knew, or that you did not know you could thrive. Listen, there are people all over the world waiting to hear your experience. There are people all over the world waiting to celebrate your freedom. There are people all over the world ready to encourage you as you go down this new path of freedom. There are people all over this world, not just YouTube world, but this whole world, that are excited that you have finally decided to break free and become something that you never even knew you could be. Whose permission do you need to do all this? You don't need anybody's permission right now but yours. You hold that key. It's your feet that are going to have to do that walking. It's your hands that are going to have to do that tearing down of the fences and the barriers and the walls that you built around you. I can help you. I've got a helping hand, but I want you to know that you've got to decide it within yourself first that this is a thing that you can do. And Walt the Motivator is here to encourage you to break free, break out, escape from the reality that you thought you knew into a reality of freedom. This is your chance right here. Because there's financial freedom ahead for you. There's spiritual freedom ahead for you. There's mental freedom ahead for you. Now, can I do all of that? No, I can't do all of that, but I can encourage you as you go along your way. I can encourage you and motivate you. What I'm really trying to provide you is transformation, not just information. Transformation from a prisoner into a free person. Transformation from somebody that was shackled and handcuffed into a person that can raise their hands in freedom, that can run the race in freedom. I'm here to encourage you to do that. Oh boy. Have we got so much lined up for you? Stick with me as I go on this journey. I don't have that many subscribers. I don't have that many watch hours or any of that. But I'm telling you, I don't need all of that to be an encourager. I don't need all of that to be free. Because I've got systems in place already, and I want to share them with you. I don't need somebody else's permission to be free anymore. I gave up my freedom once, and it lasted 28 and a half years. But now that I'm out, I'm telling you, I sing because I'm happy. I sing because I'm free. I talk because I'm happy. I talk because I'm free. I run, I walk, I dance, and I raise the roof. Because listen, I want to motivate you from the mundane into a freedom. Like I said, I got transformation for you, not just information. Come on, say transformation, not just information. If you are able to comment in this section, can you just say transformation? Can you comment transformation on your phone or on your computer? However it is that you're watching this, just put transformation in that comments box, because we're about changing lives for good, for the good. That's what we're about. And guess whose permission we need for that? Nobody's. I've already given myself permission to be happy. I've given myself permission to be joyful and enthusiastic, because that's what I am. I may not seem like it every day, but I'm telling you that every day there's something dancing inside of me, glad to be free. But it looks so much different watching snowfall as a free man than it did as a prisoner. How do you see your snow? How do you see your snow and your rain and your sunshine? Do you have to look through bars of a prison of your own making? Do you have to look through bars of a cage that you yourself have put yourself in? You got the key. This is your emancipation. Give yourself permission. You told yourself too many times, for too many days, for too many months and years that you were going to start a YouTube channel. Come on. This is it. This is it right here today. I encourage you. I want to lift you up. And also, I always say it. I am Walt the Motivator. Want to motivate you to be the best you that you can be. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.